Hello, my friends. It's Mary Rose Feldman here. Welcome to our final free class week class. Today, I'm going to work in the round. I'm going to work in a Zentangle, which is the Zentangle version of a round tile, but you can work on anything. You can trace a circle in your journal, anything you want. This is going to be a monotangle today. It's going to be nice, gentle tangling. We are going to practice the tangle first, so have a little sheet of paper or something to just go over this before we take it to our tile. And as always, simple supplies: regular pen, pencil, tortillon, paper stump, anything you want to smudge graphite. So let's begin with our moment of gratitude and breath. Gentle inhales and exhales. Notice if anything is tense on your body, shoulders hunched, clenching your jaw, making a fist, anything like that. Just when you exhale, offer a release to your body. If any extra thoughts are coming through, just acknowledge them. No judgment. And we're just grounding ourselves in this moment. Today's affirmation is, I allow forgiveness and optimism to flow through me every day. Have a moment of gratitude. And let's get started. Okay, there's our card for today from the affirmation deck, randomly pulled for today's class. Okay, so let's practice our tile. I'm going to brighten this up, not darken this up. The tangle we're going to do is called Morning Glories. And there's a version 1 and a version 2. This is Morning Glories 2, and it is by Helen Williams. So what you're going to do is come up with a stem and a skinny aura. At the top of that stem, it's going to flare out into a triangle that you're going to connect with a C curve. So that's our top center petal. And that's kind of the shape of the petals. Think of this inverted C, going down is what I mean by inverted, and angled on the side. What we're going to do is add another petal to the right. We're going to start at the top here, not necessarily in the center, to the right a little bit. I'm going to curve. I'm going to get that C curve, and then I'm going to bring that down. So I curve this a little too much. It can be straighter than that. And we're going to do one of those on the side too. And then we're going to have 2 hidden behind. And that's our Morning Glories. So the shape of the petal is this. And when you do the ones that go behind, you can make this line first, if that feels better for you. But that's essentially what the Morning Glories pattern is. So we're going to make this intertwined, and I'm going to show you the tile because you've already seen it on the header of the YouTube link anyway. But what we're going for is this. So, excuse me, our morning glory stems intertwine, just like halaba. So we have a channel and it goes behind another channel and they intertwine. So don't be too intimidated by this because we're going to step it out very easily and you'll be fine. So grab your round tile or your journal, whatever you're working with, but I want you to grab a pencil first. And on this space, we're going to make one loop and we're going to make another loop that intersects. Okay, so just get your loops in there. This one's probably a little too close to the edge, but I'll work with it. So we're trying to keep them in just a little bit because our morning glories are going to go at the top of those stems. Okay. So once you have that done, grab your pen. We're going to pick one of these stems. I'm going to go right here. It doesn't matter which end you pick. And my morning glory is going to start right here. And whether you put that pencil line in the middle or on the side, it doesn't matter. Hi everybody, I'm interrupting here a little bit because I gave you some false information. It is preferable to have that pencil line in the middle of your channel instead of choosing it as one of the sides. You're going to see why later in the video, but for now I just wanted to stop the recording for a little bit and just say, if you have a choice, put that pencil line in the middle of your channel. It will make sense later, and I kept the correction in the video just so that you could see why it made a difference. So sorry for the interruption, and back to the video. We're going to make that morning glory come out. Got a little shaky line in there. And we're just going to stop there. And for every one of these endpoints, we're going to add just the morning glory, not the stem, not the full stem. I do a little bit of it just for my own connection. This one got a little wonky on me. I didn't pay attention to my angle, so we're going to have to just ignore him a little bit. He got a little square, not triangle. My mind was getting ahead of me. So my stem here is a little bit too close to the edge, so I'm going to start it down here. I don't want that full morning glory going off the page. And I'm trying to make these different sizes. So this one I think I'm going to make pretty big. Different scales in each one of these. so I have my 4 morning glories coming through. So now all we have to do is decide which stems are going over and under. So I went back to my pencil and I'm going to continue this stem. And then this one continues, so maybe this stem goes over. So do you see what I mean by going over and under? There's a little pencil line there. And you may need a little eraser on this. So this channel's going to go over on top, which means this channel comes under. If this channel comes around, we've got an intersection here. Whoops, I did that wrong. All right, so I'm going to leave this in the video in case anybody did this, okay? Instead of putting my pencil line in the middle, I chose to put a pen line on it. So look what happens. My pen line is here. It continues around here. And connects to that, which is all good. But in this case, when it comes around, it's on the other side. See that? I'm going to draw this in. And again, I'm leaving this in because I didn't even notice it. I must have done my tile a little bit differently. But I'm going to show you how to fix it because we're going to have to erase some of these loops. Here's what's happening. I'm going to draw the full thing in pencil. This is coming around. And when it comes back up, it's on the wrong side of the morning glory. Right? So if you have that going on, what you're going to do is just erase that loop. Erase this loop. I apologize, I did not catch that earlier. It did not happen in my sample. So what I'm going to do is bring these two down. I'm with my pencil. I'm going to bring these two down. And then I'm just going to connect them. Okay. And I'm probably going to have the same issue on the other loop, so I'm going to erase that. We'll figure out what goes over and under after we rectify this little confusion. And if you didn't have this issue, no problem. You're all good. Okay, so that's what we've got going on. My apologies about that. Didn't expect that. I was a little confused myself. Okay, so now all we have to do is decide which one of these overlaps is over and under. So I'm going to put this one under. So this one under and the other one over. And now all you have to do is check this one is over, this one is under, and then the other intersection is the opposite. Another way to look at it is if you follow the channel, it's under, keep following the channel, it's over, and then you have opposite. Okay, and you can make them all alternate or whatever you want. It doesn't matter. So once you're comfortable with that, you can go ahead and trace it. Now you know why we did them in pencil. And there we have our morning glories. Okay, and from there, you can decide to add more. So what I think I'm going to do, let me get an angle here. Let's see. I think I will bring one in. If you want to pencil this in, you can pencil this in. I'm going to have one come this way. So as you can see, I like to do the morning glory first, and then I just let the stem flow. So I don't always, you'll see me not tracing on my pencil line. Sometimes the pencil line doesn't line up with how the morning glory came about, and I'm okay with that. And you can also have one stem from one of the branches that exists already. Maybe, let's see, maybe we have one here that's tiny. So I'm in Zentangle world right now. I'm not trying to be realistic. You might say, well, morning glory doesn't grow in that direction on that stem. Okay. Just enjoy the process. And I feel like I have a bare spot right here. So I'm going to, I think it's right here. I'm going to have one come in off of the edge. I think I might leave it at that. All right, so now we have our structure in. If you need to erase anything, I'm going to get rid of some lines just so it's not confusing for anybody on camera. And sometimes you need to use your pen and get some connections in there. All's fine. Okay, so let's add some details to this. The first thing I like to do is I put an orb. If you have a gap in that little section, I put an orb with a little bit of an aura. You may not have a gap, so if you don't, it's okay. I always had that little area, and I liked to just put a little orb. You probably have noticed that I like orbs in general. They always fit the space very nicely. Okay, so I put that at the top. And then that very center petal that we have, I like to aura and color in with the highlight. So I do that on the center petal. I know I did not break between those two steps. I trust that if you've been following along all week, you have heard I'm going at my own pace for the size of the video. Please pause and enjoy the tangling. By no means am I rushing you by going to the next step. If we were live, I would be taking many more pauses so everybody can enjoy their tangling. And you can, at this point, if you feel like you want to round some of the corners or strengthen some of the edges of each of the petals, you can certainly do that. I'm just going to round a little bit of the corners. If you make the whole line dark, you're not getting any contrast. You might be strengthening the line, but there's no contrast. So by doing just the corners, I'm giving strength to the corners, but the lines of the petals still stay thin. And that's where you get the contrast in the design. That's with any tangle pattern. I'm also strengthening that connection of that last petal that we added. That I am thickening up a little bit just because it connects to the stem. Okay. The other thing I'm going to do is the petals that are behind, I'm going to add a couple little pen flicks. Right where that point is. So where these petals that are drawn behind come to a point at the bottom, I'm doing just a little bit of a pen flick, press in that point, and then flick up my pen. We're going to add shading there, so this helps our shading. And you can do these pen flicks towards you or away from you, depending on the orientation of your tile. And the last thing I'm going to do, I didn't write on the back of my tile, so this is Morning Glories 2 by Helen Williams. And we're going to add in some fescue. So this is a headquarters tangle. It's my, what we call lovingly, mac and cheese tangle. But we need something wispy in here. You can also add more Morning Glories throughout here. For time's sake, I'm going to leave it as it is, but you can fill this up more with Morning Glories if you want. I am just going to find an edge. I'm doing a nice takeoff, and I'm going to do this nice little curve and a fescue. I'm going to color in that teardrop at the end, and I'm going to leave a little bit of a highlight. And you can do these in whatever direction, whatever your tile needs. I usually just find an edge where I can do a nice takeoff, and then I'll anchor that takeoff with just a little bit of rounding. I try to have those curves go in varying directions. Maybe some are like this one that was straighter. You can even do a loop-de-loop. It's a very technical term, loop-de-loop. And you can fill up your tile how full or not full. And you may have other wispy tangles that will fit this. There's several out there that would be nice. And the last thing I'm going to do on this is just the edge feels just a little bit bare, so I'm going to do just that pressure skippy line. I'm just pushing and releasing my pen so that I don't get a definitive line, I just get a textured line. Come on back when you're ready and we'll do some shading. Okay, so I'm going to grab my Zentangle pencil, give it a little bit of a sharpen, and I am going to shade the bottom of every Morning Glory petal. So when you blend that out, so this center one you're going to fade up and down because it doesn't really have an edge. The other ones you're going to blend upward so the tops stay bright. And notice how that front petal pops a little bit because it's got more shading behind it. I do like that, just to give that front petal a little bit of pop. Really pretty tangle pattern, so much versatility. I added a little dimension to it with the stems intertwining. I think she had that in her sample also. And with the, actually no, I'm going to take my pencil and where the stems overlap, I'm going to add shading. So it's going to be dark on the stem that's going underneath. I'm just going to blend that out throughout the stem. And now we have those gems in there. So I put those in for those who have not seen the quick Mary Rose gem style of gem. I wanted to just have one in here so that you can see it. I'm going to pull this orb right here and I'm going to zoom in. Oops, let me get that focused. There we go. Okay, so this is the orb that we're going to turn into gem. And gem meaning it looks a little bit highlighted like this little jewel, okay? But we're just going to do this with graphite. We're not trying to make this look too in-depth. This is just a quick and easy one. I'm right-handed, so I'm pointing my pencil up in the upper left corner, about where 10 o'clock would be. If you're left-handed, you're going on this side instead. Your pencil point's probably going this way. Either way works. I start up around 10 o'clock. I'm right on the pen line. I'm doing C strokes with firm pressure, and I'm pulling towards me. Now I'm medium pressure. About halfway through, I'm medium pressure. Now I'm really light pressure, and then I stop. So see how I left the very bottom white. So I have a little bit too much of a line there, so I'm just going to blend that out. So it's firm pressure, medium pressure, light pressure. You're in a small space, so you've got to do that really contained. With your tortillon or paper stump, I'm going to blend that bottom just a little bit, but do not get rid of that white. You need to maintain that white. Then you take a jelly roll. I like the 10. I did not test this. Hopefully it works. You're going to add a little jelly roll dot in the darkest point of that. And that's a gem. Quick and easy gem. You can make them much more in-depth and much better visibility if you want when you do colored pencils and all kind of thing. But usually I'm in and out on this. Okay, and that's the gem. So I'm going to go ahead and do that in all of the orbs that I have at the top of my morning glories. Whoop, that one got a little dark. And I'm not turning my paper. You could say, well, shouldn't you turn your paper for the light source? Yeah, if you're following a light source, yes. I am not. I'm just kind of keeping my paper in the same spot. Blend, 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 blend. Remember, if you're using the gel pen, it stays wet a little longer. So while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and put my, fan it a little bit. I'm going to put my chop on here. Letting it dry a little bit before I turn it over. And there's our morning glories. Okay, take a nice good deep breath. Moment of gratitude. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for tangling with me this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got lots of inspiration so that you can take these tangle patterns and play with them on your own and see what other ideas you can come up with. Until next time, thank you very much. Have a great day.